Welcome back. Panelists here. Washington Post columnist Eugene Robinson, Danielle Pletka, Senior Fellow at the American Enterprise Institute, Maria Teresa Kumar, President of Voto Latino, and NBC News White House correspondent. Weekend Today co-anchor Peter Alexander. Welcome to all of you. So, Michael Bloomberg. Maria Teresa, this is alleged comments that Bloomberg, this is from a Washington Post look back on Bloomberg on women. And I'm putting all this up here because it feels like pre-Trump, this could have been disqualifying in a Democratic primary. Quotes that have been attributed to him. If women wanted to be appreciated for their brains, they'd go to the library instead of to Bloomingdale's. Referring to some lawsuits about discrimination. The lawsuit said when Bloomberg saw certain women, he said, I'd expletive that in a second. Another anecdote, when Bloomberg learned on April 11, 1995, that Garrison, somebody who worked for him, was pregnant, according to her suit, he allegedly said to her, kill it. He has denied that he said those words in a deposition. Is this going to be damaging to him as he tries to become a mainstream Democrat?
This is where it's going to get tough. Who's going to show up for the American public? Is it going to be Mayor Bloomberg, or is it going to be philanthropist Bloomberg? And I say this because philanthropist Bloomberg is the one that has invested heavily on electing women through Emily's List, has invested heavily through Planned Parenthood for Women's Choice, has invested heavily on gun reform, has invested heavily when it comes to basically every single issue that technically will expand the base and bring in a bigger tent. Mayor Bloomberg, when he talks about what's happened with redlining, when he talks about stop and frisk, has been incredibly damaging with some of those policies. And so as he rolls out his person and his persona, he's going to have to be able to answer directly of what is happening and who is going to show up.
Eugene, does it take character off the table?
It may. I mean, we did have an election in 2016, and Donald Trump did win it, right, after the Access Hollywood tape, after everything. He won the election. And so I think a lot of Democrats, as they look toward this election, they're saying it's Trump, it's going to be a knife fight. Maybe we should look at the guy with the biggest knife, right? And with $60 billion knife. And that's Michael Bloomberg. I think that's why he's getting a look from the Democratic Party. And I think that's why, the things that definitely would have been disqualified just a few years ago may not in and of themselves be disqualifying. We have yet to see him on a debate stage. Right. We've yet to see him mix it up with it. We've yet to see how he actually performs. But we've seen a lot of ads, and it's gotten him some numbers in the polls.
It's interesting, Danielle Pletka, Amy Klobuchar decided not to go to any of those places. Yes. And that is her prerogative. Maybe she's going to do it at the debate. Maybe not. She clearly wants him on the debate stage. That's for sure.
Yeah, I think she does, because she recognizes that she's going to come across as somehow genuine and together, and he's going to come across as a thin-skinned rich guy who bought his way into the Democratic primary.
Are you confident he's going to be a bad debater? I mean, we don't know that.
I worry. Let me put it this way. He's not a personal friend of mine, so I don't know how he is going to debate. But one of the things that great wealth does to you is it insulates you from the people. One of the things that Donald Trump has going for him is, you can say a lot of bad things about Donald Trump, and we all have, but he is actually a man of a certain group of people. A lot of people don't like those people, but he is a man of the people. I don't think that Bloomberg is going to prove himself to be a man of the people.
Peter, President, though, I think he respects only one thing in life, I think, wealth.
I was going to say, there is one thing that the president notices, and that's how much money you have, right? The president likes to boast about all the money that he has. This guy has, 60 times more money than he has, $60 billion by some estimates here. So I think that is the one thing that resonates with the president. We witnessed it this week where the president again attacked him, referring to him as Mini Mike. But Democrats watched the way that Bloomberg responded. I think were impressed by that. A lot of Democrats appreciated someone that fought back and used the same insults where he said stuff that's ugly and not pretty, but at least they like the fact that this guy's not going to back down from it. We'll see if that matters. I was in the Oval Office earlier this week, and I said to the president, who's the front runner? He said, I think it's got to be Bernie right now. I said, why is Bernie surging? And his eyes kind of sparkled for a second. He wants to praise Bernie in a way because he sees something about Bernie in himself, which is he's an outsider. He's anti-establishment. He's got a movement. Obviously, I think he'd like to run against Bernie Sanders. Bloomberg, I think he has concerns about.
Maria Teresa, where's this all headed? It's a mess.
Grab the popcorn. I think the biggest challenge right now is with Bernie Sanders, I think the question is that he will grow that electoral base that the Democrats desperately need
Will he?
in order to win. I think he'll bring in the young people.
But did
the
he?
Challenge,
He hasn't yet.
But no, he has.
So far, I mean, youth turnout went down, not up.
No, but you actually saw in Iowa, you actually saw a constituency of the Latino vote, and you actually saw a constituency of young African American votes actually outperform. That is where the new base is coming from. The challenge, though, is he going to turn off a lot of the moderate Republicans and independents that Bloomberg will actually be able to siphon off?
Or Amy Klobuchar and Pete Buttigieg won those voters in New Hampshire as well.
Yes, but I think the challenge is that this is the challenge with both Buttigieg and Klobuchar, is that coming into Nevada, they do not have a base. Biden has a base, Warren has a base, and Bernie has a base. Those are the three. And so when you start talking about, and they've been working it for a long, long time. And I have to say, Elizabeth Warren's camp, she brought in all the folks from Julian Castro's camp, but also the same people who made sure that Hillary won last time.
Julian was the best organized in Nevada early on.
All the folks, right, yeah.
Well, after Nevada, we get to South Carolina. I don't want to, it's dangerous this year to look past any primary.
Don't look past any.
Let's not look past Nevada. What happens in Nevada will affect what happens in South Carolina. But that's, I certainly believe, a do-or-die state for Joe Biden. He has to do well there.
What's well?
He's got to win.
Okay.
He's got to win.
I was surprised he didn't say win. Yeah.
He's got to win.
Yeah.
And there was a poll that showed nationally Biden's African-American support going down. That's the ball game in South Carolina. Basically, you have to do well. So that South Carolina firewall, if Bloomberg actually makes inroads there. I mean, Bloomberg is not even running there, and he's polling like 6%.
Charlotte media market helps because he's advertising heavily in North Carolina.
And so if you see Biden go down, maybe Bernie comes up or whatever, I think that would be a disaster for Biden, and I think it would be good for Bloomberg going into Super Tuesday.
The problem is we're still talking about this as if it's some sort of speed dating show. And, for me, the big question that we don't talk about enough is, what is the Democratic Party going to stand for? Is the Democratic Party going to be the party of, we have to beat Donald Trump at all costs, or is the Democratic Party, which is what it has been for the last 2 years?
And what Bloomberg is essentially saying, hey, that's what I am.
That's what I am. Right?
I'm like, I have a lot of warts, but you know what? Let's go.
Or is it going to be the party of ideas? And that's because that's what inspires people.
And this is where the challenge is, that you have historically Democrats that will vote for whoever's on the ballot right now because they are feeling nervous. But we also know that that's not going to get them over the top unless they grow that base. And that has to be a party of ideas. And this is where I think a lot of the Democrats are missing the opportunity. They keep talking about these big ideas, but they're not landing it. They have to give the vision of the day after Donald Trump is, the day right after my inauguration and Donald Trump is gone, this is what we're going to do together. That's how they have to synthesize it.
Well, that was a nice, robust discussion. Thank you. And remember, NBC News and MSNBC, the networks of NBC News, will be hosting the next Democratic debate Wednesday from Las Vegas. I'll be joined by my colleagues Lester Holt and Hallie Jackson, Telemundo's Vanessa Ock, and John Ralston of the Nevada Independent. That's Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Don't miss it. Hello from Washington. I'm Chuck Todd, and thanks for checking out the Meet the Press channel on YouTube. Click on the button down here to subscribe, and click over here to watch the latest interviews, highlights, and other digital exclusives.